What's up, guys? Before we get started, we want to let you know about our sponsor, Fresh Prince.
You guys need new uniforms for the upcoming sports season or want to have a matching shirt for the big family reunion? Maybe have a cool design that you also want on a shirt. Fresh Prince has got you covered for all your screen printing or embroidery needs.
Yeah, so go to freshprinceinc.com. That's fresh, P-R-I-N-T-Z, Inc.com, or check them out on Facebook to see what they have to offer. Again, that's Fresh Prince with a Z, Inc.com. Now, let's party.
Yo, I was in the shower. Call me back.
What's up, guys? I'm Josh.
I'm Jared.
And as always, with the man behind the ones and the twos, we got BJ.
What up, Beige?
What's up, BJ? All right, so we are the Melon Party. Welcome to the Melon Party. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram under the Melon Party. We also have our store on the Facebook page where
Get
you can
some
get
merch.
some merch on
Get
some
the
different
merch.
things. We got the summer, so we got some. I picked up a tie-dye tank top, which I love, and Jim would have loved it, and that's one
Tank
reason I picked it out. Yeah, it's got the old school tie-dye with the red and the yellow spinning tie-dye with the Melon Party on it. Pretty tight. So we got that on there. So yeah, go check that out. Jared, go ahead and give them the email and the phone number then.
I guess we'll give it to him. It's
it to
the
'em.
Melon Party hotline. You can give us a buzz. Leave us a voicemail, 317-520-3168. Or shoot us an email on the World Wide Web. Fire up your Netscape. Maybe type it into Lycos and send us an email here at the melonpartypod@gmail.
And some dial-up. So today we are going to do a episode dedicated to our friend Jim.
Jimmy! JPav, the melon.
So people who may not know is that this podcast was basically created and inspired by our friend Jim, who passed away last April. And so we're a little late on putting this episode out, but wanted to make sure we got some stories from some people and just kind of did something where
Better late than
be
never.
fun. Yeah, and something where we can kind of all put it out and we can mourn the time together, and kinda
Reminisce about our boy.
Yeah.
Because we got some good ones here. Looking forward to it.
So we're going to do some emails and some voicemails that people left and talk about some stories and just talk about our friend Jim.
Sweet.
First one we're going to do here, I'm going to do an email. This was sent from Mama Vogel, his mom, Joyce.
Love Joyce, member of the morale committee, my trivia team. She's the legendary,
She's the matriarch.
the country music servant of the morale committee. She knows every country music song like ever written.
I love that we were talking about your trivia team the other day and how each person has their
we
specialty.
do, man. We got
That's
our
why
specialty.
You guys are killing it.
We kill. You
gotta
can't touch
have-
the morale committee, dog. You can't touch us.
All right, so she left a few different stories, and so we're going to do the one here. I really like this one, so here we go. Okay, here goes. When Jim broke up with his girlfriend, he was devastated and heartbroken. Hold on. Many nights I would get midnight phone calls, and he would just cry on the phone. He got a dog. He loved that dog, but it just wasn't the time in his life for that responsibility. We had kittens, and he decided he would take one. Thus, Lola came to be. I'm sure he never cleaned the litter box, but he loved her, and the midnight calls ceased until she came in heat. All the guys hated her. She squalled all the time. Yeah, I remember that. Mom, what am I going to do? So he brought her home in a pillowcase so I could get her fixed. Lola saved Jim's life. So when he decided to drop out of college, we couldn't say no. You can't bring her into our house. We had never had an animal in the house. Lola was our first. I bought the cat litter. He never scooped. I had to do it, and he never bought her food. Once again, I had to feed her. He loved her, but he expected me to take care of her, and she was a mean cat. Yeah, she was. We loved her, and when Jim finally moved out, he left Lola with us. Then he got Obi, his beagle. Of course, he was living with Brock and couldn't have a dog. Mom, can I keep my puppy at your house? Of course. That was so I could housebreak his dog. When he finally rented the apartment from Rich's dad, he finally took Obi, and he loved that dog so much. I am so happy Obi and Izzy have found so much love in there forever home with Jared. Obi is so much like Jim. It's still like having a piece of him around.
Oh man,
And it's true.
It is so true.
I mean, he the other day when I was with you, man, he showed his teeth at you. He was mad at you. Took that chair, wouldn't let you sit down, and just showed his teeth.
Josh, yeah, we were hanging out, dude. I was trying to get Obi to come to bed so he wouldn't like fuck with Josh when he was sleeping. I reached out trying to pull him out of the recliner that he sleeps in. He just started showing his teeth to me. Just, I was like, all right, bro, it's cool. You can chill, dude.
Chill.
Yeah, he is so much like Jim. It's crazy, dude. It cracks me up sometimes, and he drives me fucking nuts, dude. He's an insane dog.
Yeah, he's
crazy.
man.
No manners.
He just.
Zero manners, zero
Man.
personal space. He's got to be on top of you, bro.
He's a brute, and Izzy's a total
He's
different.
so strong. Yeah,
Izzy's
they're-
just this nice
she goes
butt
with
shaker,
the flow.
you know, and
She
like
a fraidy cat.
yeah, will
They're
cuddle
good
up with you
dogs.
nice, but
I'm glad I have them. They saved me.
yeah,
They
I mean
absolutely
they're
saved
great,
me.
and that's one thing I got a lot of memory. I mean, knowing Jim for as long as we've known him, we got a lot of adventures and a lot of great stories. But some of my favorite things and the things I really miss right now, like memory. I was thinking about this the other day. We used to come and stay with Jim on, like, you know, every now and then, just come and stay the weekend with them.
Sure.
And there were so many times where towards the end of the night, we'd both be on the couch, opposite ends of the couch, that old couch he had, the L couch or whatever, and cold as fuck in his house. 'Cause no matter what,
course,
weather is
polar bear.
Yeah, if it could be 50 degrees outside and it's going to be 40 in.
Yeah.
And so you knew if you went and stayed with him, you had to bring hoodies
You gotta
and
bring
stuff
a
like
hoodie
that.
and your
It's
coat in the living
fucking
room. Be
walk-in
seeing your
freezer.
breath in
Oh,
his
yeah.
living room.
Love the cold. So we were sitting there cold. I'm all bundled up, you know, and Rick and Morty's on the TV, and Jim and I are looking at our phones, fucking around on our phones, playing games or whatever. And Izzy be cuddled up next to me. Obi's cuddled up next to him, and we wouldn't even say a word to each other forever. Like we.
Comfortable silences.
Yeah, but it was all, you know, and it wasn't our friendship. We've been together, knew each other for so long. It wasn't about the conversation. It wasn't about what we were going to do or let's do something on board.
Right, just
It
be
was just
together.
the presence.
Yeah,
you
be
know,
together.
and that's what I miss the most.
Sure.
And
Definitely.
because
Definitely.
I'm a silence person. I like silence, and he's also like that. So we worked well together with that. But I knew I could look down at him and see the dogs, and just everybody in that moment was where they wanted to be, and that's what I really miss, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Obi and Izzy, and thankfully you got them, and so now I mean
I'm so thankful I was able to get him
Yeah.
because, like I said, Joyce was saying about how Obi and Lola saved Jim after some hard times, and after Jim was gone, you know, being able to take them and have them with me certainly
yeah, because they definitely
helped me.
They definitely, yeah, and I mean, you spend some time with them, you get the feeling of Jim a
For
lot
sure.
um, because I mean he raised them, you know,
For sure. They're good dogs.
so they're very similar to Jim.
good
And,
dogs.
yeah, so that's great. So the next email here we have comes from Jim's brother Matt, and he left one here that I really liked. It said he's got I have some stories from when I was little, like when got stuck 50 feet up a tree and Dad had to climb up and get him down. Or when he jumped in a hotel pool fully clothed at like 4 years old. Dad dove in to save him and then lit him up because his pack of smokes was ruined.
It's a pack of Winstons I ain't never gonna get back.
You can't mess up the old man's heaters, you know, like dads and heaters in the fucking 80s, you know, like that was the everything for them. So yeah, so those are the two his, brother and mom stories. So we appreciate you guys sending those in.
Yeah, thanks, Joyce. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate
Yeah.
you guys sharing those.
I really I think I've said it multiple times. Probably get old, but I'm really happy that they enjoy this show and support us and are
For
happy with
sure.
what we're
Yeah,
doing.
they were rocking some merch the other day at our trivia. Some of the Melon Party merch. It was
Yeah.
pretty sick. I'm gonna have to get some for myself.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm happy. The next email here comes from our good friend Matt Allen,
Matty.
part of our circle. He said, my Jimmy memory goes back to high school, of course. Every Monday night, Jim and I watched wrestling at that time. We were WCW Nitro guys, and my mom would leave us money, and we would order us a large one-topping Domino's pizza every Monday.
$5.50 carry out, boy.
It was like $6.99 for a large carry.
Crazy, dude. Yeah, dude. It used to be $5.50 forever for a single pepperoni. That's amazing.
Well, one Monday, we make our order and go to pick it up in the beer car. And if anyone knows, we'll talk about that in a second. Just jot that down. We'll talk about the beer car.
Yeah.
And we were talking, and Jim just didn't stop, and we ran directly into Domino's wall.
Dude was the worst driver.
And he always got mad at everybody.
Terrifying to ride with that kid.
Man. Like Jared, the building and workers were just looking at us through the window. Well, like normal dudes, we just got out and went and got our pizza. We did notice Jim's bumper had like a crack, so we decided we should fix that. So we went to Walmart and bought Realtree camo duct tape, so we taped it up real nice and pretty.
Realtree camo duct tape. Huh?
And that tape stayed on for the rest of the life of that car. So if anyone ever wondered why Jim had his bumper duct tape, it was because we almost went through the wall of Domino's.
He probably knocked the toppings off the wall. Worst driver ever.
And we'd
dude.
get so mad at everybody else.
Yeah, because he
Rage.
hated riding with people. He'd be like, "God, you're," be like, "Dude, you can't drive. Shut up." Dude.
I mean, I used to.
Remember we
sit
got
in
a
the
side
back.
swipe by that semi trying to get on the on ramp at 11 there.
Yeah,
because I had that real short.
He was supposed to come to Chicago and got in a wreck on the way to Chicago.
Yeah, up in Lafayette. I remember that too.
Yeah, and I mean, I used to get to the point riding with him, I'd have to sit in the back just so like I could like hide my face.
Crazy,
Man, it's like if I'm gonna die, I don't want to see it.
Always on his phone and shit. I'm like,
Yeah.
bro, you're gonna die. Get out of here.
But the beer car he had, what was that? Was that a Tempo?
It was like, Tempo, a Ford
White.
Tempo, a white Ford Tempo. He got it for a case of beer
Yeah.
from Jacob Henley's dad, Mark Henley.
Yeah, got him bought a case of beer, and then
You could start it without the key.
Yeah, like
You could just turn the ignition without a key in it, and it would start. Like you could move it, you could put it in gear when it wasn't on. Like it would never pass any inspection ever. No. Absolute death trap.
Especially for like
road.
a 16, 17-year-old
Costs
kid. You don't want
case of
that.
beer.
Yeah,
I mean,
you
like
don't-
in 1997, how much was a case of beer? $10.
I mean, if that.
Not even.
12.
You could get a cold case of Fall City at Northside for $5.99 in like 1999.
Yeah, and he got a car for it. I just couldn't. And at that time, I mean, the big car for like high school and stuff was like what, the Cavalier?
The Cavalier and the Sunfire.
The Sunfire and the Cavalier.
I mean, there were so many jokes about girls who drove Cavaliers and Sunfires about how like, yo, dog, she's in a Sunfire, she'll give you head.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? What does that mean?
They were good cars though, because they were on the road forever. They were cheap, but they were durable.
Cheap and good gas mileage.
Yeah.
There was like that one summer of like our freshman or maybe our like junior, senior year probably when gas was mad cheap, like 90 cents a gallon.
Yeah.
Oh man, Philip, I had the Corolla, the Stealth, man.
Yeah, I had
that
the
thing had
minivan.
like a 12-gallon tank in it, dude. I could fill my tank up for $10 and drive that thing for 2 weeks, dude.
Yeah, I had the
Hell yeah.
Astro minivan.
Yeah, the
And
Maestro.
I mean, I put gas in it with just like change.
yeah,
in the-
used to get around.
Yeah,
Still get around.
And the gas gauge didn't work, so I just knew if I put $5, $10
Jim
in-
always had shit box cars. He had that pizza delivery, that white Cavalier up in Woodburn.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy, dude. You remember that snowstorm we had when he went out there in flip flops in like 20 inches of snow, and it took him an hour to get that car out of the snow, bro.
He was so mad because it was supposed to be getting warm. It was like going into spring.
Yeah.
Had a
And
big.
we got
he was
like 20 inches of snow.
He was like,
bro.
no. He's like, I'm wearing shorts and flip flops. I'm gonna
after this day.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna force it to be warm.
Yeah.
And he
was
didn't
out
stay.
there.
He couldn't stay at the house. He wouldn't
'Cause it
stay at our
was
house.
still snowing.
Yeah. So he just went out and pushed his own car, and we just sat in the house and watched him.
his
Like,
ass
you
pushing
fucking
that
do it,
bitch in
dumbass.
flip flops in 20 inches.
Because we were just
of
like, just
snow.
stay. Just stay the night here.
No,
like you stay the night all the
no,
time anyways.
no.
Yeah. Just had to be
I'm
stubborn.
going home.
Yeah. Fucking tool. man.
Took him a quarter tank of gas rocking that bitch back
Oh
and
my
forth
God,
trying to get
dude.
out of that. That
And
was
then
so
got
fun.
mad at us because we didn't want to help. I was like, we're not helping you,
Yeah,
man.
fucking dumbass.
We
Look at
helped
that.
you by offering you a couch here to
Yeah,
sleep on,
right.
dude.
There's your help, dumb shit.
Yeah. Fucking asshole. You get You get out there and
fucking
push
idiot.
a car with fucking flip flops. That's crazy.
In snow, bro. What a dummy.
So crazy. But yeah, that's a good one. I appreciate it, Matt. Thanks, man.
Yeah, appreciate that.
All right, so now we're going to get into some voicemails now. The first couple here, because with the phone call, the voicemails only last so long. So we got a few guys that went and then was cut off and then had to call back and leave another one. So this one's going to be one of those, the two-parters.
Got a couple parters
this
here.
This is from our good friend Alan Worski.
Oh, sweet.
What's up, fellas? It's Al here.
Hey,
Hey,
Al.
just calling to touch base on this tribute episode you're doing for Jim, and I want to share something here or there. Jim and I, we go back a long time, as most of us do. Where we started, all of our friendships started growing back in middle school, and there's definitely a story he liked to tell, embellish a little bit, if you will, about when we played football in 8th grade, to how whenever they put me at running back for some unknown reason, he likes to tell everybody that he tackled the shit out of me. He bent me backwards, but really what it was, I saw a little dude standing there, and I thought, hey, I'm going to plant this dude in the grass. He did tackle me, but it was more or less me tripping over his face mask as I ran over him. So that was fun. But yeah, he liked to tell that story a little bit. But as we got older and our interest grew in things that, everything changed, and one thing led to another. We all started getting some fun interests, having a lot of good times, a lot of good fun memories, some that we don't remember, some we do. And later on, we all took a big dive into getting into really appreciating good old music and talking about it and expanding on it, and it just so happened it kind of lined up. My biggest connection I had with Jim as we got older was, he worked with me for about 4 or 5 years, and during that time we had a lot of commuting and rode in vehicle together. We started fostering a real appreciation for all things Grateful Dead related, and that's kind of where his interest blossomed, my interest blossomed, and I know it ended up becoming his favorite band. And so we would sit there and text extensively or talk extensively about, this Dead show, that Dead show, this Dead song, that Dead song, what was our favorites, what we liked, what we didn't like, things that made us laugh. We would sit there and, just randomly text each other like, hey, I was born in the desert. And then one of us would reply back, raised in the lion's den. And, we would sit there and say, hey, check out the show from 4/21/71 from the Fillmore East, or, Happy Harper College Day, which falls on May 2nd, 1970, which is a famed show that the Grateful Dead performed at Harper College. They did a really sick acoustic set followed by a really nasty fucking electric set where they covered James Brown's Man's World and a really bitchin' other one. And so we would always talk about that, and we would sit there and touch on 5/8/77, which is another landmark Dead day. We would sit there and go back and forth. One time, Jim, he checked out all of the Dix pics, or he downloaded all the Dix pics off of some torrent, and next thing you know, he's come to my house and he brings me a CD booklet of every frickin' Dix pics that, was in existence, volumes 1 through 30. Sup?
Part 2.
This will be part 2.
Brought him every Dick's Pics. Damn, I met my old man like that.
And so, picking back up, Josh and I were driving from Seymour to Greenwood with Jim one day. He was driving, and Jim drank one of these fucking Mountain Dew MDX energy drinks, and I'd fallen asleep in the car, and by the time we got into Greenwood and woke up from sleeping, Jim's eyes were about the size of fucking softballs, and he's all wide to the gills. God damn, those things are awesome. Oh, my God, I'm going to go get another one. Oh, my dear. He's all freaking out, so he goes to the gas station and gets another one.
He got
and
another
proceeds
one.
to have an amazing day at work. He trips over a pallet, falls down, busts his ass in a puddle of mud. Then we're going to lunch, and Jim is sitting there in his car with Josh is getting in the back seat on the driver's side, and Jim's kind of sitting there leaned up against it talking, and Josh doesn't know. Josh slams the door, getting in the vehicle, and slams Jim's hand in the door. Jim pounding on the fucking roof of the car, motherfucker, open the door. And Josh is sitting there like, what the hell? And then Josh looks up to Jim's hand stuck in the damn door, and then Josh opens the door, and Jim's hand goes flying in the air, just at absolute agony. And then later on, Jim and I are washing some brick, and he dropped the pressure washer wand, and I went down to get it and handed it up to him. But not before I did that, I squeezed the trigger and gave a blast of water to the face, which was also
with a
pretty fun.
pressure washer?
But
Piece of shit.
yeah, oh man, we could talk about these things for hours and hours on end. But you know, I spent a lot of time with Jim working and listening to some good tunes, and you know, it's where it is.
Awesome.
Harness those memories right there, fellas. Have a good one.
Appreciate you calling, Alan.
Yeah, thanks,
man.
Alan.
That's hilarious. Of course, Alan sprays him in the face with a fucking
Oh, yeah.
pressure washer. That would hurt so fucking bad, bro.
Man, that thing with the closing his hand in it, man. I mean when he said it closed his
The
hand,
door closed.
It was latched, like the door was latched, and I remember sitting there looking up at him, and he's smacking the top, going, open the door, and I look at him like, man, what are you doing? Like, let's go to lunch. And then I opened it, and he pulls it back, man. You can just imagine, like, it's throbbing like a cartoon, like his fingers are all
hurt.
And I mean,
so
he was
bad.
eating handfuls of Advil, like every day, man, to try to kill that pain. I felt so bad. So bad, but yeah.
Oh, fuck, dude. That reminds me, like, it was when he was working with the masonry for a while, and, like, he fell off a 2-story scaffold.
Yeah.
Working for the masonry one time.
I can't remember how tall it was, but he
2
fell.
stories. I think they were doing a Walgreens in Columbus, and they were up doing, like, the top of it. So it was 2 stories of scaffold, windy day, and, like, he stepped wrong and fell off of the scaffold. And Alan and the work guy said he looked like a jug of milk falling off a shelf when he hit. And he just, like, fell on the ground and was all messed up from that. I remember, dude.
Yeah.
That had to hurt so bad. I think
yeah.
that's when they might have started calling him Melon.
Yeah, that's
Because
about
they
time.
said he looked like a melon or a jug of milk, because they were calling him 2% for a
Yeah,
while, or Deuce or something.
Yeah, they called him 2%, and then I think Malin was the one
was
that
the
stuck,
other
that
one
he
that
liked
stuck.
it.
Yeah, and
with that.
he kind of resigned to Melon, and that ended up being like his gamer tag on Xbox.
Yeah.
It was right when Xbox started to kick off.
Comes the Melon Party too.
Yeah,
that's where
thank
the
you
Melon Party comes from.
That's fucking sweet, man. Thanks for calling out.
Yeah,
That
thanks
was
for calling out.
Shoot him in the face with a pressure washer. What a dick you are.
Yeah. Their love for the Grateful Dead, that was something that really
Big time,
brought them, made them even closer, because they were the two out of everybody who
Big
just
time
went,
music nuts.
yeah, and then they just went all in on the Dead. Man.
Yeah.
and I mean we all enjoy the Dead, but not
Sure,
not to the
like
level
them.
they,
Not like you heard them. Alan just
Yeah.
listed like 9 different Dead live show dates.
Yeah,
Oh
like,
yeah,
oh, no.
Hanover College Day, bro. Like,
Yeah.
no one fucking knows what that is, Alan. What the fuck are you talking
March
about?
12th,
Bro,
1968.
man,
you
the
know?
Dick Spix Volume 13, Track 17, The Dark Star, man. It's 27 minutes and 32 seconds of pure bliss,
At
man.
19 at the 19-minute mark in the 29th second, they start
Yeah.
going into a solo.
Jerry's solo at 19 minutes to 23 minutes changed my life, man.
That's great, though.
No, that's cool,
Good
man.
music.
I'm glad you guys had that.
Yeah, that's
to-
awesome to be able to look back on stuff like that.
yeah.
And he was talking about, so many memories that we forget. And I think that's one thing that
so many.
yeah, and I think that's what sucks when you lose somebody that you've had so many memories, because we all have memories that stick with us that the other guys don't know or don't remember,
Right.
because it affected us in a certain way in
Sure.
that moment.
Sure.
And and that's what sucks, because there's so many things I think about that Jim and I did together that that he loved, or that it stuck with him, that it struck him, that it stuck with him, and then and I'll never know them, they're gone
Right,
now,
yeah.
and that's one of those things that really sucks, because you share, I mean, in life, in this ride that we take together, all we have is our memories, and and knowing that a lot of those are gone now, and it just
Yeah,
sucks.
it's tough, man, because you think about those things, because it's just like you have triggers of those memories, certain movies or songs, or, what video games, anything can like trigger one of those memories. And then you're like, oh, like, I remember how Jim felt about this, you know, and you just wish you could call him and be like, or text him and just be like, hey, man, you know, like, fucking remember blah, blah, blah. And he'd be like, yeah, that was fucking stupid because of this.
Yeah, it was something he didn't like, but we remembered it.
Dude, that was it was hilarious.
Yeah,
man.
and that too. I just miss like being able to talk shit to him. I miss him talking shit to me, insulting
I
me.
know, dude. I would give a fucking arm for one of his rants right now. Fucking just like on anything dumb.
Yeah.
You know, like I want to hear his feelings on like the Dune 2. You know,
Yeah.
it's fucking stupid. Timothy Chalamet's a fucking douchebag. They should have fucking cast Keith David.
Yeah.
You know, like fucking.
Yeah.
I had the pleasure of getting. I was real close friends with Matt. Still one of
Sure.
my close friends. We just did a podcast together.
Yeah.
And I would try to get Matt and both brothers fired up at the same time.
Oh man, talk about
Trying to burn the town
I'd be
down?
like, Matt, what is wrong with your brother? What's wrong with him? He's like, rah, 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 rah. Like, what's wrong with you, Matt? We'd be watching wrestling. I would just be like,
Yeah,
and I would
dog.
just sit back and go,
opposable force.
well,
and a
because
movable
like a boring
object.
segment would come on and I'd be
Look
bored.
what I created.
And I'd be like, all right, let's see what we can do here.
Let's instigate this up a little bit. Irish brothers, man. I mean, nobody fought like those two, dude. They were insane people because they were so identical.
Yeah,
they
they're
have
very similar.
identical senses of humor, identical likes and dislikes. They were
First
both
thing out of their mouth
incredibly
was always,
opinionated.
what was the first thing out of both their mouths? Like, that's dumb.
Yeah,
What-
exactly.
What are we doing?
That's fucking stupid.
That's
What are you-
stupid.
This is
That's
stupid.
stupid.
What are we doing?
It's dumb. Stupid. I
The
don't like
ultimate contrarian.
Who raised you?
Yeah.
You know,
it. Yeah. I don't like it.
but you'd be like, hey, I need to ride to school. All right, I'll be there tomorrow.
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was instant calm.
Yeah,
That's
They
the thing.
Just,
I really
turn
that's-
it on and turn it off.
And that was one thing I think I learned from Jim, is that just because you get in these emotional arguments with someone you care about, it doesn't mean that it needs to stay that way.
Right.
You know, and I'm a very emotional person anyway.
Sure.
And especially back in the day when I was very opinionated. I'm not so
Right.
much anymore, but
Right.
like we would get in these screaming matches over shit for fucking hours while
About
everyone
the
else
dumbest
is
stuff.
to the point where people around us are just leaving.
Yeah, we're
'cause
like,
they're over it.
shut up,
Yeah.
dude. Like, you
And
two
then-
are dumb.
and then-
Shut up.
And then like the thing was be quiet for about 5 minutes or so. It's like, hey man, you want to go grab something or whatever? Yeah, let's go do that.
Let's
You
go
know,
do
and it's
some
just
food.
over.
Yeah, it's
And
done.
nothing was ever, nothing
no
was
big deal.
held personally.
Right, yeah.
Nothing. It was just like we were just fucking screaming because we thought we were right about something,
Sure.
and the other person wouldn't admit that. And so we're just going to scream at each other
Yeah.
without solving anything.
Yeah.
But it was almost like it's like something, you know, during those times we needed, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and with our angst and who we were at the time,
Yeah, dog.
you know, and yeah, so
He was crazy. Dog.
yeah, get a lot of that. All right, so we the next one is coming to us from we got Dick Stein. We had him on recently.
Dickie.
in the chips with Dick.
Nice.
So we'll go ahead and we'll listen to his voicemail here.
Hey, Melon Party listeners, Josh, Jared, BJ. I was calling in, talk a little bit about Jim. A couple of my favorite memories of him. The story I told at his funeral about us being out at the bar, the Funky Monkey here in Seymour one night. This is probably like 2003 or something like that, 2002, I don't know. And I've been running my mouth at some guy that I probably
figure.
shouldn't have, but I like to run my mouth.
You sure?
Yeah.
And this guy was kind of up in my face, and Jim, just hammered drunk from across the bar, sees this dude up my face and comes storming over and like gets between us. And this guy's like looking at Jim, and he's like bigger than Jim, and he's like, "Who are you?" And Jim looks up at this dude, and he's like, "I'm bad fucking news for you, pal." And I think the guy was almost just about stunned or amazed that Jim even said that he just kind of like took off and was like, "Forget this." But that's just kind of who Jim was. Like, he saw his buddy, you know, maybe in a situation that was going to turn bad, and so he intervened himself to try to diffuse the situation or back up his friend, you know. Just kind of because that's who Jim was. My other favorite quick story about him as when we used to go to Indy 11 matches, we would always have to sit in the same corner of the stands. You know, couldn't sit somewhere else. These were our seats. This is where we sit. And Jim always had to sit in the top corner, so he could be as far away from everyone as possible. I would have to sit on the inside in case, you know, in his words, some fucking asshole tried to sit next to him. He didn't want to sit next to him. And so we always had to do that. And then this one time, Jim sees somebody that he knows, and in like the blink of an eye, he goes from, you know, that grumpy Jim, why are all these people here, to shaking this dude's hand and, hey man, you doing good? You staying out of trouble? You being good, man? Hey, it's good seeing you. Just flip of a switch, like nice guy, you know, business Jim, as we would call it. And then like second the dude walks away, he's back to like, man, there's too many fucking people here. Like just grumpy about all the people there. The dichotomy that was Jim.
Complicated fella.
And there's a million other stories, but those are some of my favorites. So you guys keep up the good work. Love you guys. We'll catch you later.
Awesome.
Love
Thanks,
you too,
Dick.
Rich. Thanks, man.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, I love that Jim goes and hits him with the guy with the wrestling promo.
Yeah,
Kinda saying,
dude.
you know, like
Bad fucking news for you, pal. So funny. Dude had so many amazing one-liners like
Yeah.
that all the time.
Well, I mean, he spent a lot of time watching some of
Wrestling.
the greatest wrestling promos
dude,
of all
I mean,
time.
like he was the biggest wrestling fan out of all of us, and that's saying something. I mean, Richie is a massive wrestling fan,
Yeah.
and I mean,
And
Mike
is
is a
too.
massive wrestling fan, and Jim is at least, or was at least, you know, as rabid a fan as they were.
Yeah. Well, too, though, let's give Richie some credit. I always named Richie as my little Joe Pesci. So there's a story with Richie. We were living in Bloomington
Constant
together,
shit stir.
playing this flag football league and playing like an indoor flag football league. And this one guy, and so you're not allowed to press at the line, right? And I'm
jam.
a receiver, Brock's our quarterback, and Richie is like the other receiver, running back. He's the center who hikes it and does this and that. So there's this other guy who's about my size, and at this time I was coming out of, we were in probably 23, 24, around there. I'm coming out of my athletic. I just wasn't playing athletics much, and I just wasn't the athlete anymore. But this guy I'm playing against, he was still this athlete guy. He's pressing me.
Yeah.
So, and I'm like, man, this is dumb. And the referee doesn't care. He's not going to call it. He's just there to make his 12, 15 bucks for the game or whatever. And so I finally get tired of this guy, and I hit this guy with a swim because I know he's pressing me. I hit him with a swim move, and as I come over, I push him, and he falls down, and I immediately say, "See ya, bitch." And Brock hears me say that and lobs it up. I catch it. It's a touchdown. And as I turn around, this guy is marching towards me.
Chasing you down.
Yeah, marching toward me, ready to fight. And as soon as he gets, I'm just smiling at him like, oh, here we go. He goes, what'd you call me? And as about that time, man, Richie comes up out of nowhere, gets right between him and I, looking at him, bumping him chest like an umpire and a skipper. And he goes, he called you a bitch, you know? And it's like, he's like, what are you going to do about it? You know? And I'm just like backing up laughing. And then the guy backs up. They get it broken up or whatever. And I'm just laughing. I'm like, man, my little Joe Pesci, man, my little bodyguard.
That is so funny.
So, yeah.
I remember that flag football league.
He, Jim did that for him, and then Richie did that for me.
Yeah, man. Well, you got to step up for your friends when the
Yeah.
time counts, man.
Yeah.
Jim be loving sports, though. It reminds me fucking like of when we were living in the Woodburn and we were chilling all like after work one night. It was like a random Tuesday. Pacers season had just started. They were killing. Best team they had had forever. They were playing the Pistons at the Palace.
Yeah.
And we were playing Lord of the Rings Risk. We had Lord of the Rings on the lower TV. And we had the Pacers game up on the upper TV, the big sports game. We're playing Lord of the Rings Risk. We got Lord of the Rings on mute, and we're watching the Pacers game.
And we're also at this time we're drinking a gallon of whiskey.
Yeah, we were
for
partying.
every Pacers game.
Every
at
home
night,
game.
There was
every game.
It was just every
Every
playoff
game.
game. So it was Jim, Jesse, you, Steve, and I. We're going through a gallon of whiskey, shooting a gallon of whiskey.
Yeah,
so
we're
we get all
partying.
whiskey bin up for these games.
Yeah, we get fired up, man, and just like we're watching, we're playing Lord of the Rings Risk. We got the game on in the background. Then all of a sudden, we see like a hard foul. And then Ron Artest goes and lays on the scorer's table.
Yeah.
And then a fan throws a beer onto Ron Artest, and the malice at the palace started,
man.
dude. And we're all like standing in
we
our
all stood
living
up.
room.
We're like, yeah.
We're all like staring at the TV, watching this happen live as it's happening, and we're like, holy shit, dude. And the Pacers were so good. Jim was the ultimate Pacers fan.
Yeah.
Huge Pacers fan. Reggie Miller's favorite player. He had
Steve,
a cat named
Steve
Reggie
is
Miller.
too. Steve was.
Yeah, him and Steve were tight. And I mean, like, that team was so good that year, and they just like crushed that team. Just been a JO and for like 50 games. Our test for the season.
Steven Jackson.
Jackson.
Well,
for like 30
that was
games.
they had made some changes defensively for the league. So
Yeah.
like that Pacers team was built
They were
for
so good.
the way the league was being played.
They were so good.
It was a much slower pace, feed the post. Jermaine O'Neal had that turnaround fadeaway, one move that he just did constantly. So it was like a slow,
Team
and
was
yeah,
tough,
and
man.
that team was just. I mean, you had Artest as your defensive specialist.
He was beside himself
And-
after those suspensions.
and
Jim
yeah,
was,
and that was
when
it,
they
man.
ruined
That
that
was-
team. He was like, "They fucking this is fucking bullshit. Nobody else is getting anything. They're gonna throw it all on the fucking Pacers. This is fucking fuck." Or it was David Stern. Then he's
Yeah.
like, "Fuck David Stern." He's like, "I ain't ever watched an NBA." He was furious.
Oh yeah,
furious about that.
yeah. They should. They.
But yeah, watching that
fucked
malice
everything
happen
up,
live,
man.
that was fucking wild, dude. Because we were all just like, "Oh,
Yeah, and they just kept the cameras rolling. Like I was so
know.
shocked.
I couldn't believe they didn't cut away, dude. I
Yeah,
was
they-
tripping about
I mean,
that.
we saw the Jermaine O'Neal slipping,
Yeah,
and throwing
just
that punch,
blast that dude.
and they showed everything, dude. I was like, wow,
He
mind
was
blowing.
so mad about those suspensions, though, dude. Ruined that whole season. He was furious about it. That was a good time.
Yeah. Yeah, so the next one we will do voicemail coming in from our friend Rohit.
Here we go. What's Ro got to say?
Well, I was just lighting up a joint here. Illinois, legal. Not like
Not
you
bragging.
druggies in Indiana. All you sons of bitches illegally smoking the herb and the dope. No. Legal here. Just thinking about 2000 and, I think it was 2006. We went to Tennessee for Bonnaroo. And this was about a year after Josh. Well, no, Josh and maybe Josh hadn't moved up at this point, but Jared and Jesse certainly had moved into Chicago. I think by 2005, that's when I had my condo in the city. By 2006, we decided to go to Bonnaroo. Yeah, Josh, I'm pretty sure you had moved up. Maybe we're even living with Megan in the city. I don't want to, it's irrelevant. So we decide to go to Bonnaroo, and we're all excited for fucking Matis Yahoo. And I think who else were the Roots were there. Tom Petty was there.
Yeah, Tom Petty was one of the headliners.
Coldplay was there.
I don't remember Coldplay.
It was Pearl Jam, I think.
Radiohead was one of the
Radiohead was there, I think. Yeah.
was one of the headliners.
Yeah.
I remember listening to Creep and eventually passing out right there on the lawn. But the cool thing about this trip was that we were going to have plenty of fucking alcohol because owning a few bars kind of offered us the opportunity to imbibe and get lots of cases of Jim Beam and Jack Daniels at
It was good.
five-finger discount prices. And so we packed up. We had 2 cars of us. I believe it was, it was Alan and his girlfriend. It was me, Jared, and Annie. It was Josh, Megan. It was our
Grant
buddy
Ryan.
of Josh, Jared, and Jim's. His name was Grant. and there were a couple of randoms that we brought from Nevins, one of whom ended up hooking up with Grant on that trip. And one James Vogel, as well as Jesse Jerry.
Got cut off.
Part 2.
Part 2.
Okay, so you kind of got who's there: Jim, Jesse, me, Josh, all the main characters, Alan, Worski. I hope I'm not forgetting. You guys will fill it in if I am forgetting anyone. Anyways, this trip
High as hell
was
stuff. Just high as hell.
going to be
rambling.
amazing because we had, I think, one full case of Jack Daniels in tow. That was for me. We had 2 cases of Jim Beam. We had plenty of mixers. I'm talking about cases of goddamn whiskey. And so we get there, and it's 2 carloads of us. And, of course, security pulls my car over. I'm not saying it was because I'm brown, but I am definitely thinking that it's part of the reason. Tennessee, that area is not particularly friendly to the darker persuasion. Anyways, they take a look. We're at a goddamn concert, community goddamn concert, 5 goddamn days.
A lot of
It's just
people.
a
100,000.
big field of fuckery. And they're like, nope, we're going to confiscate all that whiskey. Well, that infuriated me. And that's when I started smoking weed. I digress. This story is about Jim. This man, now, okay, look, it's Tennessee, it's the summer, but it was raining and it was cold. And at night, it was getting down to 30 degrees. I mean, it wasn't like a
I don't
picnic.
remember that. I remember being hot as
But
fuck and
when
hard
James
to sleep.
Vogel,
It was 100 degrees all day.
he
This fucking
packed
dude.
only sandals.
He did have
He
one
was
say-
committed to walking around in sandals all goddamn week, regardless of what was going to happen, regardless of what was suggested, regardless of what was offered. I offered him a pair of my shoes. This man refused at every single step. His feet were black they were black.
swollen.
If you've ever seen Frostbite, this man's feet were black. Goddamn, he was the most obstinate son of a bitch, but hilarious as well. He had his famous breaded chicken joke on that trip. I'll let you guys talk about that. It's not funny. I still stand by that.
Terrible.
But that man was awesome. And I will never forget his black, tarred feet, him
Just dirty.
looking at us in derision as we suggested he put on socks.
Yeah. So
Breaded chicken.
there's a lot here. Yeah, so his feet he got sun poisoning.
Yeah.
And his feet
It wasn't
swelled up.
frostbite.
No, his feet
Goddamn
swelled
100
up.
degrees in Manchester, Tennessee in July, bro.
Yeah, and there was red, but they were black because it was dark.
He had thong sandals.
And they
swelled up so much that the thongs were about to pop.
Yeah.
His feet looked like 2 boiled sausages.
Yeah, and then we had Megan and Pam's there, and being women, they're
They were
motherly,
concerned. And he was freaking out
Yeah.
because he had a super bad foot thing. He
Yeah.
hated feet.
He didn't want you looking at his
Don't
feet.
look at
Don't
his
talk
feet.
about him.
Certainly couldn't touch his feet.
No.
Dude was super weird about feet, and they were bad.
They were real bad, and so Megan, they would just be like Jim, are you sure? Because they kept. And he goes,
was like,
and he was like, he's like, what are they? The new celebrity baby? He was so mad. He didn't want anybody to talk. What are they? The new celebrity baby?
He was like
Why do you keep talking about
swabbing
them?
them with like baby wipes.
Yeah, it's like that ain't doing shit, dude.
Like,
you got to
bro,
see a
put
doctor,
some
man.
fucking sunscreen on your feet,
Man,
dog.
he
And
was tore up on that.
yeah, man. He didn't say a word about it though. We were all concerned, but
Yeah,
of course he
but
didn't give a fuck.
No,
dude.
he didn't say shit.
He didn't give a fuck.
But yeah, we took in 3 cases. We had close to 40 bottles, 40 fifths.
There was like a
of whiskey.
dozen of us. Yeah, we were giving
Yeah.
each of us a bottle of whiskey a day.
Yeah.
For a dozen people.
Yeah, we were
Bad news.
Yeah, thank God it got taken.
Yeah, we would've
because I
went
mean
to jail.
we could have sold it and stuff and
Oh,
made
man,
good
we'd
money in
made
there.
so much money
Yeah,
with that
but
booze.
I mean we lost what 2 ounces of cannabis.
Couple ounces of weed.
Yeah,
so I
and
think
so,
a
like-
half an ounce of mushrooms and then
Yeah,
like
we-
3 cases of booze.
We lost a lot. They took everything, and then like later on we went and watched Cypress Hill, and they're up there smoking. We're like, yeah, I bet they're smoking all of our shit. you
drinking
know?
our fucking whiskey, smoking our shit back there. We were
It took
furious
everything.
about it, but it was a good weekend anyway.
But he loved the. Didn't he give you a hot foot? Who gave you the?
He
hot
gave me
foot?
the hot foot. Yeah, he gave
yeah,
me
he
the
loved-
hot
he
foot.
loved
dude.
that. He thought
Dude,
that was the
that was
best.
fucking. I told that story at Jim's funeral.
Yeah, he
as
loved
well
that,
too.
dude. That
man,
was something he
'cause,
talked about
like
all
we were
the time.
sleeping, and like it was so muddy and rainy. It was right about rainy, but it was hot.
So hot.
So my feet were all fucking muddy. So I slept with my feet hanging out of my tent, so I didn't get my tent in bed all nasty. And then like Jim was an early riser, man. He don't sleep, dude. He got up like 5 a.m. and he fucking gave me the hot foot,
Yeah.
bro.
I mean, he used to go to the grocery store at like what 6 in the morning.
So we
or something
wouldn't
like
have
that.
to see anybody.
Yeah, so we could get in
like
and get
6
out.
a.m. on Sunday when he
And that
knew
was his
everybody was
thing.
at church.
So weird.
Yeah, it's super weird.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
weird
Breaded
about that shit.
chicken. So we had groceries there to like barbecue or whatever, and he took like a raw chicken breast and then 2 pieces of white bread and made like a sandwich in it. Then he just walk around and be like, "Hey, you want some breaded chicken?"
And thought it was the best.
Thought that he
For
talked about that
decades.
goddamn joke for 20 years. Thought it was the funniest fucking thing he'd ever talked about in his whole life.
He-
I was
and
like,
that- and-
breaded chicken, you get it?
Yeah, he and that's what he would that was like his ammunition. That was one of those jokes where he would bring up to us because he knew that it would make him laugh, and we would just shake our head and be like, "That's not
Yeah.
funny." And he got a thrill out of us being disgusted about how funny he thought that joke was.
Yeah.
You know?
Best fucking part of Bonnaroo, though, for me, and the ultimate Jim-ism, was when we were at Tom Petty.
Yeah.
Tom Petty was the headliner. I think he was closing it out. It was like 11 o'clock. Tom Petty had just finished his set. He comes out for the encore, and he brings a guest on stage.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Stevie Nicks. Jim goes, "That's goddamn Stevie Nicks. Fuck me. He
Yeah.
fucking hates fucking Fleetwood Mac and Stevie Nicks." He goes, "Is that goddamn Stevie Nicks?"
Yeah, and I-
Oh, fuck.
Yeah,
He
and
was furious
I just remember,
about it,
like
dude.
at the end of the song, they went and played another one.
Yeah.
and he thought it was just gonna be the first one, and he's standing next to me.
that
And then at the
fucking
end of the
Stevie
song,
Nicks?
he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna do another one," and then I just hear him go. He's so mad. He was so mad over Stevie Nicks, just the biggest. Because that was the thing. You knew you had Jim when you hear the. Yeah.
So furious, just exasperated about something
He had
that
to.
he
He just had to
hated.
release that anger through air. He had this
That
certain
fucking Stevie
side.
Nicks.
That's Steve. God damn it.
That's fucking Stevie Nicks.
And of course, like Megan's just in tears laughing because she knows how bad he hated her. I'm in tears laughing. I was like, "This is perfect."
that was great, dude.
Because no one expected Stevie Nicks to show up.
No,
you
I mean,
know?
like that
what
was the whole
fuck's going
reveal,
on?
and it was just like almost a shit right on Jim's.
Yeah, because
cereal,
like
dude.
I think they really only did one song,
Couple
like,
songs,
yeah,
one or two
But I mean,
encore
like
songs, yeah.
recorded wise, I think him and Stevie only did one song together.
Yeah.
So
Stop,
you're
stop messing my heart around.
yeah.
I think,
So you
is
think
that
it's like
song,
going to be
yeah.
one, and then she steps in and sings like one. They did like a cover song of somebody
Yeah.
else together or
Yeah.
something. It was good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just so that shit is so funny.
Yeah, we had some
Just
good times
infuriating.
that weekend at Bonnaroo.
It
for
was
sure.
hell. It was absolute hell, but we
had
made the
fun.
best of it
Yeah, we
because that's what we did together. That's what we always did together. Like you could put
When we
you
were
could put us in
together,
any
we were good.
situation, we were going to make it a good time. But
Yeah.
it was absolute hell. Like there was no sleeping, there was no shelter.
No,
It was hot
we
as
didn't
fuck.
have any shade. We had inadequate supplies. We didn't
Yeah,
have
because we had all of
water
our
and
shit taken
Yeah.
from us, and like, yeah, it was just fuck it. Yeah, it
It
was.
was brutal, but we got through
And then we ended up having to go around. I traded a cigarette for some hash.
Yeah.
And got all hashed out. That was fun.
it. Yeah.
But yeah, it was a great time. We got to see Les Claypool.
Yeah,
Got to see
Oysterhead and Claypool. We saw Jack Johnson. We saw Cypress Hill.
Cypress
we saw
Hill.
Dr. John.
Dr. John. Yeah, that's
Was
right.
insane.
It was
Jesse
awesome.
and Jim stayed there like the whole time to do it. Dr. John.
What's the Blues Traveler was there?
Yeah, Blues
That was the first time we
Traveler,
ever seen
John
him. He was
Popper.
real
Yeah,
thin. That's when he
yeah.
first came out. He was throwing his harmonicas out in the
there were a
crowd,
bunch
which was
of people
cool.
there. That was a great weekend.
Ziggy Marley was there.
Yeah, Ziggy Marley, Modest Yahoo. There were a bunch of people.
Modest
there.
Yahoo was really good. His band, I remember his band sucked. Like they were fucked up or something. They couldn't keep up with them. You could hear a lot of mistakes and stuff. But he was good. But
a lot of fun though, man.
that was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, those feet, man. He had
They
bad,
were trouble.
bad
It
sun
wasn't
poisoning.
frostbite.
No, it
That's
was sun
fucking
poisoning.
Rowett. That motherfucker, dude, keeps his house 82 degrees. Be walking around in sweatshirts
Long
and
sleeve
sweaters
shirt,
and
man.
shit, dog. Fucking jungle Indian motherfucker, dude.
Fucking loves
couldn't
it
even.
hot.
He's the anti-Jim, you know.
Yeah.
Like fucking Jim kept his house 40. Wrote keep his house 85 degrees. Couldn't
Yeah,
fucking
man.
stand that shit. Go to his fucking apartment, and be like, it's fucking 77 degrees in here. That
Yeah.
dude's walking around in a sweater.
And it's that kind of
3 t-shirts
He
on
would have it
underneath
that
it.
kind of heat too, where like you breathe it in, and you can
Yeah.
feel it. You know, you're like, dude,
It's
I
the
feel like I'm
goddamn
outside.
jungle. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It felt like the fucking jungle in there.
Like,
I'm like,
this
bro,
air
we're
is
not in
rough,
fucking
dude.
Bombay, son. Like, turn the AC down, bro. What we doing?
Yeah,
Fucking crazy.
but yeah, I appreciate it, Ro.
Yeah, thanks,
But
Ro.
yeah, also, kids, if you're listening, side effect of cannabis use is rambling.
Is
on.
rambling in short-term memory loss.
I love you, Ro. So we got one more voicemail here.
Okay.
This comes from Mike. Mike, you guys all know Mike. He
Mike
helps out
Sullivan.
with this show and
He
stuff
helps
quite
us
a
with
bit.
our NAF news
Yeah.
segments. Yeah.
So we'll hear his voicemail here.
Nice.
Hello, Melon Party listeners.
This guy.
Struggling
Sexy
Los
voice.
Angeles actor Michael Sullivan here.
That want the
and
neighbors to
I
hear.
am leaving this phone message a few days after the first anniversary of Jim Vogel's untimely passing. I still think about him all the time, and even more so than normal on this particular weekend. And the Melon Party hosts have asked some of us to call in with memories and thoughts about Jim, and I'd like to share something. We all know that Jim had some strong opinions about popular culture. In fact, there were very few subjects in all of pop culture that could not induce howls of complaint from our Jim. Even the sort of institutions that were basically universally revered at the time, like the Indiana Jones film series or the Harry Potter film series. And unless you knew Jim very well, you might come away with the impression that he was a bit of a snob. And that is not exactly right, because Jim did enjoy a number of popular things, chief among them Star Wars, from the tattoos and his dogs' names. But a lot of my core memories of Jim come from our shared love of a subject that provokes disdain from most adults, and that is professional wrestling. To be clear, Jim had strong opinions about pro wrestling as well, and he vociferously disliked most modern professional wrestling.
Yes, he did.
I was one of the few people in his life who was knowledgeable about one of his true passions, which was 1970s and 1980s style American pro wrestling, particularly as performed in the old Memphis territory before the McMahons consolidated all of the territories as part of the then World Wrestling Federation. But one thing that Jim specifically enjoyed doing was to call me on his commute home. Now, we lived in different time zones, so I would still be at work at the time. And Jim would leave me voice messages, sometimes video messages, that were long-form impressions of those wrestlers from the 1970s and 80s. So, I'd get off work a few hours later, I'd check my phone, and there would be just 3.5 minutes of Jim performing Dusty Rhodes' famous Hard Times promo from the lead up to Starrcade 85, or Jim would channel former governor of Minnesota, Jesse Ventura, and he'd tell me that his biceps were bigger than Mean Gene Okerlund's head, and then he would launch into a conspiracy theory in the voice of Jesse Ventura. And
Such a dipshit.
I've still got a few of these messages, and they're really special to me because, I don't know if he was sharing these things with anybody else. Jim rather famously maintained a very small circle. And, I wish I were a better storyteller because I want there to be some sort of a moral or a piece of advice at the end of this anecdote that I could provide to the Melon Party listeners, but I don't have that. I just wish my buddy could leave me another pro wrestler voicemail. Be good, everybody.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, thanks, Mike.
Man,
Yeah,
he loved cutting road promos.
Yeah, and we never, we didn't get the videos, but we got the live promos on our chats and stuff like that, where he would do it in our voice or in our like Xbox chats and stuff. He would, because I mean, all you do is ask him.
Oh, he loved to do it. It's his
Just
favorite.
ask him, he'd do it.
Any promo. I mean, like if you knew wrestling, there's a number of very famous promos out there. I mean, you got the Ric Flair tear in your eye. You've got Macho Man's, cream of the crop. There's
Rise to the top.
the aforementioned Dusty Rhodes Hard Times. I mean, there are a million insane promos, and Jim knew them all.
Yeah,
Knew them all.
I mean, he
Dude
spent
loved
a lot
cutting
of
a
time
promo.
just watching him, and that's what we were talking earlier. I mean, even when in real life, when he was in a altercation, he was
Cutting
he
a
was
promo.
hitting them with the promo words,
Yeah,
and
dude,
the
he
phrases, and it was a part of him, and
For sure,
he
man.
really connected with that, and
He loved that shit.
that was something that that he really loved was the wrestling, and but it's the thing with Jim too is that he had things like that that he loved, and he knew who else loved him, and he would only share with them in
Right.
that sense, So like, he wasn't gonna. I didn't watch wrestling, but I knew enough because of
Right.
him. But he wasn't gonna send me that kind of stuff.
Sure, me
so-
either. Yeah.
yeah. So, that's great that that him and Mike have that, and I think we all have like our own little things with Jim, and I think those are what's important, and I think that's what we all kind of hold on to and cherish.
Sure. Yeah, we all had our own special things with him where it was felt like it was kind of just us and ours
Yeah,
together.
a lot of inside joke stuff, and
Sure.
that's another going back. That's what sucks too. That's what I really struggle with is all the inside jokes are gone now.
Right.
They're done.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can still think of them and laugh to myself or whatever. But when you don't have that other person
Sure.
that you could just send the text to, or you send it
Right,
in, you know that they're
yeah.
laughing. You don't hear it, you don't see them laughing, but you know
Sure.
they're going to read
You
it and
know.
smile and laugh
Yeah,
and. And that's just what you have, and I think as friends, I think everybody. I mean, when you have close friends and stuff, I think those kind of things are. I think everybody has that with somebody in their
Sure.
life, and I think those are what's great, And but we do have
We got some promos.
yeah, we
don't
do have a couple impressions here that we do videos, Jim, and these are great too. I appreciate you, Mike, for sending these to me because I get to. Throw these on when I'm thinking about him and stuff, and you get to see him and hear his voice and everything. So
Yeah.
they're nice to have. So BJ, go ahead and cut the first one here. Jared, we'll give him a rating.
Ric Flair, you put hard times on Dusty Rhodes. And Ric Flair, you don't know about hard times of the American people. You don't know about working for 30 years. One day, they kick your watch. They kick you in the butt. They say a robot took your job. Hard times.
That's a super accurate Dusty Rhodes impression.
I think that's probably was his best.
Oh,
was
for
Dusty.
sure.
Dusty was by far his best.
For sure.
I think he probably connected with Dusty the most too, and I think that was one of his
Who
favorites.
didn't? He was the American Dream.
Yeah, well, and speaking of that, his son, Dusty Rhodes' son, just
Dustin
became the
Rhodes,
first ever champion. Because Dusty, I don't think ever won the championship, but
first
his
Rhodes champion.
the guy, I don't know his name.
Yeah, I think
BJ
it's
might
Dustin
know.
Rhodes. I think it's Dustin Rhodes is his name.
No,
Cody Rhodes.
Yeah,
Cody Rhodes.
Dusty Rhodes won a belt on a house show, like on a weekend.
Yeah.
And that was the belt he always wanted. And then he won night 2 of WrestleMania. He won the belt. Cody Rhodes.
I actually watched the video of it and stuff. That was pretty cool. See him in the middle of the ring and shit. Like, you could tell it meant a lot to him. And we know that this stuff's scripted, this and that, but I mean, it's still awesome.
I
son,
loved it in the 80s, and everybody was just like, found out that wrestling was scripted, and everybody was just like, okay.
Yeah, like, it's still fun.
And it just got more popular.
Yeah.
It just got more popular
Yeah.
in the 90s.
Because then you could say, like, oh, okay, so the guy's this guy who isn't really this bad of a person, so I don't have to hate him. The hating them and then being the villain's
heels,
the fun.
yeah,
okay,
for sure,
okay.
for
So
sure,
it makes
for
it a
sure.
little more enjoyable, you know, I
sure.
think, for people.
For sure.
All right, so I think we got another. I think this one is
Is this
his.
Jesse Ventura?
No, I think this is his Al Pacino.
Oh, because loved doing this one.
Yeah.
One of his favorites. Always.
New impression I'm working on, Michael. Tell me what you think. Al Pacino. She's got a great ass, and your head is all the way up in it.
And I love his impressions like that.
Fucking Heat,
would all
man.
be like 2 lines, because then like he could do a really good impression of most people within like 10 words.
Yeah.
But if like he had to move
His
into
Morgan
like a full,
Freeman from Shawshank. Oh, Andy.
Yeah, that's all it is.
That's all he would say. Only oh, Andy.
and it sounded good, but that's all. If he kept talking, it wouldn't sound good. But
Yeah, he could do like 2-word impressions. Oh, Andy.
oh, Andy. Yeah,
Terrible
There's a
impressions.
lot too.
I'm Jesse Ventura, and I'm just asking questions. That's what he would always say for Ventura. That was his Ventura impression. Or, this shit'll make you a goddamn sexual tyrannosaurus. He loved the Ventura, too.
Yeah,
Hell yeah. Thanks, Mike. That was a
Yeah, I
good one,
appreciate
man.
that,
Appreciate
Mike.
that.
yeah, I really like all that. Yeah, everybody really appreciate everything that you guys called in.
Yeah, dude. Hell yeah, it was awesome going through some of those. I've got fucking a million billion Jim stories I could share.
So let's talk about another story. What other story you got?
I mean, like, one of the ones that I like that sticks out with me that you can probably share as well is when we were working as bartenders in Nevins, and he would come up on like weekends and just stay the weekend with us. He'd come up like cut out Friday early at work, come up stay the weekend with us in Chicago. And when we'd be like working at the bars, obviously we'd always be working like Friday, Saturday, Sundays, because those are your money nights. You know, we'd be working. So he'd just come in and basically chill at the bar while we worked our shift. His favorite thing to do, we're in Evanston, Illinois, home of the Northwestern University Wildcats, so a college town, rather affluent area, quite a bit of money and rich people there as well. And Jim's favorite thing to do in a college town bar would be come in around, 8, 9 o'clock. He'd have his food, and then he'd go up to the jukebox there that was soon to be filled up with, boisterous college kids here for the night, and he'd fill that thing up with $20, $40 and put in like every 25-minute instrumental jam band you could think of. Oh, here's Mountain Jam by Allman Brothers, 22-minute long instrumental. Here's like this is when his Grateful Dead live shows would come in, because you could like search the internet on the touch tunes and download
that was
songs.
a good jukebox
For sure. And he would just fill that thing up with like $20 worth of music, but each song would be like 23 minutes long.
5 hours.
And then we'd be having all these kids coming in at like 11 o'clock putting their money in and be like, I put $5 in that jukebox to listen to Kanye. It's been 2 hours and I haven't heard it.
Well, it's going to be another 2 hours, sweetheart.
Be like a Jim just cracking up about it. Be like, oh, did you like that 22-minute guitar solo there by Phil Lesh? How was that?
Well, and the thing too is like we would close the bar down.
It'd
and
still
be
be
cleaning
going.
up, and it would still be going. Like it would be going until we're done leaving.
Going 4
Locking
in the
doors,
morning,
and the shit's
dude.
still playing
We're
his list.
still playing his.
Because I remember multiple times he goes,
playlist.
"Oh, here's that song. I wanted to hear this." You know, and it's like, dude, it's 4 hours later, man.
Yeah, dude, that shit was too
Yeah.
much, dude. He loved doing that. That was his favorite thing.
He-
we come up, we get all fucked up during the day on like a Tuesday and go to the Field Museum.
Mm-hmm.
We'd all go to like he loved going to the Shed or the Field Museum or
He
the
lo- he
Museum
loved
of Modern
museums.
Art.
He would go to museums by himself
all the
and shit.
time, dude. All the time.
Yeah,
He'd go
I mean,
on
he
that
felt like
shit.
he went. Another great story too about Jim, because Jim was a very complicated person.
Mm-hmm.
You would think. I always told people when they would first meet him, they'd just be like, "Man, this guy's a lot." I was like, "Just give him time.
Yeah.
Just give him time."
He's an acquired taste.
And then once you gave him time, and you figured, it's like, man, this is a really good dude. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
he's just an interesting fellow.
yeah, and he can be difficult. We all can.
Sure.
But you know, and you think it's like, oh, this guy, he doesn't like people, or he doesn't like this and that. And here's another side of Jim. Jim went to, was it Marengo Cave or Mammoth Cave?
Mammoth Cave.
Mammoth Cave
down
one
in
day
Louisville.
by himself.
By himself.
One day, just decided to go. He got there, getting ready to wait to go on this tour on the cave tour. Mm-hmm. And then there's this other guy there, and it's going to be them two, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And
They were just like the only two people
Yeah.
there that were solo.
yeah, and he found and the guy, I guess, I would assume the guy came to Jim and started talking to Jim, because Jim just didn't go and talk to people. And
He
found
was saying they were just like the last two in a group, and they were just kind of like in the back by each other, and realized that they were the only two solos.
And so they, he finds it's a German guy that was from Germany.
French. He was French.
And so I guess during like the tour or whatever, towards the end of it, Jim just looks at him and is like, "You want to go smoke a joint?" And the French guy was like,
Yeah. Yes, I do.
And they went to Jim's car, they smoked the joint and hung out for the
just
rest of the
hung
day
out
at
and,
the
like,
Mammoth
yeah,
Cave,
cave,
and shit.
yeah.
And it's like, and I don't know if they ever stayed in touch or anything like that, but like that was a whole nother thing. He was so, everything about him was so unexpected. You thought you would know, like, oh,
the
Jim's
ultimate
not.
onion layer.
Yeah, it's like Jim wouldn't do this, that, and then you find out Jim did that or wouldn't like this. Oh, he does like it, you know. And it's like you could never really figure him out. He kept you guessing,
for
like you
sure.
were trying
a
to
total
interrogate
conundrum
him.
for
Yeah.
sure. You'd always be like, "Oh, Jim's gonna hate that," and he'd be like, "Dude, did you see this? This is so awesome."
Yeah.
And you'd be like, "What? No, you were supposed to hate this."
Well, and that thing is that's where him and I's arguments would come into play, because I would point out so many things that he would like, but then he would hate something else, but like something for the same reason he hated something. And I would like, "You can't do that, Jim." You know? And I'm like, yeah, you can. You can do
right.
whatever you fucking want.
Sure.
But in my mind, I'm like, no, you have to stick with your guns on. You got to keep that same energy. If you don't like something because of the same reason, you can't like something because of the same, you know, and that's where
Yeah.
him and I's arguments. But the fucked up thing is he would always have some made up. He had his own made up rules,
Right,
For
yes.
for the way he thought and lived.
yes,
And
he had like
could,
a code.
oh, he could tweak them if he wanted, because they're his
Sure,
fucking rules, you know.
sure,
So they
sure.
weren't even real rules. They weren't morals. They weren't things he's standing on. They weren't his heels he was dying. It was just like
Mm-hmm.
he felt this way about this certain thing, and then he could.
You could tweak
He
it.
could
as
tweak
needed.
it as he needed to fit his
Yeah.
bias and stuff. And
He was a
oh,
champ,
man,
dude.
used
That
to
was so
infuriate me.
infuriating. Yeah.
Infuriate me.
Be like, yeah.
But yeah, that's where a lot of him and I's arguments would come from.
Yeah, dude, and we would butt heads so much. He was like my dungeon master playing D&D. That's where we really like bonded on some stuff. You know, obviously we played in. Some
He got really
campaigns.
good at that.
I mean, he was
put a
incredible.
lot of
so
time
much
in.
work into
Yeah,
it, dude.
He put a lot
so
of practice.
much work.
When he was watching other professionals
Right.
and studying it. That was the
Right.
thing. If he got into something,
he would
man,
bust
he
my
would.
ass. I would. But he hated me so much as a player. Sometimes he would like get
You
on
asked
my
too
ass.
many questions about like.
I would rules
You're a
lawyer
rule-
him.
yeah,
I would rule
it'd
lawyer
drive
him
me
bad, and it
nuts.
would drive him absolutely fucking nuts.
Yeah,
dude. I knew I did it too.
Yeah, it's just like, dude. And
I
he
can't
always
help-
go,
I can't
this is
help
my
it.
game. This is my game.
I can't help
You know,
it,
it's like
dude.
I'm making this is my game.
Yeah, he'd come down hard on me, dude, man, with that fucking. He was always beating the shit out of me in like, the game, dude. Always targeting me in the game, dude. You could tell he was trying to kill my character. And that's fine. I appreciated that. I liked the attention.
Yeah.
It was great.
All right. Yeah, I do want to just say one more thing before we go. For this past year, I don't know if I'm able to get through this, but kind of what I've kind of learned from Jim in this last year. So, So, you know, when you lose somebody that's really close to you, as humans, it just kind of shatters us. And, you know, time, that whole saying, time heals all wounds, it's fucking bullshit. You know, time, there's no healing wounds. And, but in time, we get to put ourselves back together. And you're never going to put yourself back together completely, because some of those pieces are gone. And you have to kind of relearn to find the joys that you shared. And you have all this pain and this weight that you carry around with you. And so you have to kind of relearn how to find the joys in the things that you shared with the person that you lost. And, but all that pain and the thoughts and, like what I'm feeling right now, all of that is just a testament to how great they were. And, yeah, it sucks for us. You know, we're labeled the lucky ones, but we got to carry this with us the rest of our lives. But so I guess what I'm saying is that you want to live your life to where when it's your time to go, you want to leave behind pain and devastation, because then you know you did it right. And
He certainly left a legacy with us all.
Yeah, I'm really thankful that we were born in the same timeline, in the same small town, and that I got to have the ride with him.
He'll always be a part of our lives.
Yeah.
And we can always remember those times and enjoy them and share those experiences together. He'll always be here with us.
Yeah.
That's all I remember. I miss him every day.
Yeah, I do
I
too.
see him in everything every day. And I'm thankful for that. It hurts, but it's the only thing I got left. So I'll take it.
Yeah. So, yeah, just like I said.
It was just so sudden.
Yeah, you just...
Such
but I mean, even if it wasn't, it's still...
it's
all the
huge
same
loss,
shit,
for sure.
you know? And like I said, you want to live for that. You know, we want to make sure that it's fucked up. It's crazy that's kind of how life is that we want to live life to where when we're gone, people are in pain for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
And because that means, you know, you did
You
it
left
right.
a legacy.
Yeah, you did it right.
Yeah.
You know, because if you're just gone and nobody gives a shit, you didn't
do
shit right,
anything.
you know, and
it is certainly a testament to the person.
Yeah, that's just
and the way he shaped our lives.
Yeah, that's what I've lost quite a few people in my life, but with this one, that's what I've learned is that all of that is a nod to them. You know, all that pain that you feel forever, and it sucks, but it also just kind of reminds you that you had somebody great.
Absolutely.
You know, so really appreciate you guys.
Yeah, thanks
sorry
for everyone.
I thought I
for
could get
sending
through that without doing that.
It's all right, man. Don't be sorry.
I can do that shit, but yeah, miss you, Jimmy.
Yeah, we all miss you, brother.
Yeah, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Tell everybody in your life that you love them, your family, your friends. Keep them close.
Yeah.
And we'll see you guys on the next one.
Fare you well, I love you more than words can tell. Listen to the river sing sweet songs to rock my soul.